we already talked about the marathon Owen Hart tournament match, 22 minutes bell to bell of Osprey and our friend Take. And then we came to the main event of the evening. And apparently, the heels, of course, they said the heels attacked Hook earlier and took him out. But Samoa Joe and Shapoopy are still going to face Dick the Boozer and the Boar Horseman for the 6-man tag team title, and they're going to get a surprise partner. But Brian, think of it, because they just hospitalized Pac last week, right? Now the world champion, Dick the Boozer, has to team with his stooges, Claudio and Wheeler, to defend the 6-man tag team title against Samoa Joe and the Ops. So
Freebird rules, obviously.
But he's the world champion. So nevertheless, instead of Hook, and that's why I mean, it's AEW. He could legitimately be hurt and injured, and they made this change, but they brought out Powerhouse Hobbs. And there's also an element of maybe they thought, well, with what we're going to do, you know, Hook's a nice young man, but he's not ready to be involved in this. But they should have thought the same thing about Shapoopy. So they have the same match. The pretend badass and the Stooges walk in through the lobby off the street, and they jump started into a 6-way at 9:58 p.m. Eastern. And so they go into the overrun. They went to a break at 10:02. And when they come back, they have the rest of the match. Well, then everybody is down. Everybody's down and incapacitated. And here comes Maddie and Nikki, the Hardley boys. And they're going to menace somebody doing something. But Swerve comes out of the crowd and jumps both of them. It gives them both the double stomp and tosses both of them over the rail into the crowd. So apparently
and then Nana bit Kenny Omega's arm.
Yeah.
And Mega ran away with the dog. Or was Kenny, actually?
Actually, I thought, well, I'm not sure which one was Mega and which one was the dog, but he tossed him over the rail. Shapoopy got the sleeper on Claudio on the ramp. And Hobbs gave Wheeler Useless a rock bottom on the announce desk. And then Marina Shafir came in and hit Hobbs with a chair, which he didn't sell, but Willow came in and took Marina Shafir out, and Joe got the fucking sleeper on Dick the Boozer. And as soon as he slapped it on, the referee called it instantly. There was not only no tap, there was like a second. So it wasn't either that he tapped or that he obviously was put out. It was, oh shit, that's the finish. And there they got new 6-man tag team champions. Brian, I said to you before we went on the air without talking about this in detail, I just said, I can't believe that they did what they did after they've done what they've done. This fucking guy, hey, Moxley, has been no-selling everybody, beating the shit out of everybody, choked out everybody for all this time. And the Death Riders have been so indestructible for all this time. And suddenly on free TV, and I'm not saying Samoa Joe, I think, should be in the world title picture. I don't know why he's fucking around with fucking Shibata as a partner who's just useless. No appeal, no charisma, no nothing. And we love Hobbs, but he just brought him into this because they hurt the other guy. They've been doing this for months, and with no planning, no buildup, and a free TV match with a guy out of nowhere, they choke the fucking plumber out. Now he loses? What? What is going on here? Can you believe that? I want Moxley and anybody involved with him to lose every match they have. But can you believe after all they've done to this point, they just did that now?
It was surprising, but I guess they want to set up a reason for people to think Samoa Joe may beat him when he beats Samoa Joe. Or Moxley said, if you choke me out, I'll only do it for a second. Because that was a really quick thing. There's no sense in doing it here. If you were going to give a victory over Moxley to someone, and I like Samoa Joe, is that the person to do it to?
What was it? And you know what? It may be because it's better than Copeland, who's 50-something years older. But why just out of the blue like this in a meaningless match? Somebody's going, oh, they won the 6-man title. Did anybody even remember that these guys had the 6-man title to lose? Does anybody give a shit about the 6-man title, and have they ever? No. It's what ruined the tag team division. But again, he's beaten Swerve like a fucking dog. He's choked out Edge. He's done this and that. Then suddenly the 6-man tag. Now's the time they beat him and choke him out. No recourse. No fucking get even. They've got a stadium show coming up. Now I want to see Samoa Joe and Moxley. I bet that's not what's going to be in the stadium, but Joe's the only one that can fucking beat him. Is that going to be in the stadium? I think they should have started earlier, maybe. Why is Samoa Joe having to babysit children in a 3-man team called the Ops? He can talk, he can work, he's a former world champion, and the people believe in him. So now he's one of the 6-man tag team champions with poor Will Hobbs floundering and Shapoopy.
Don't forget Hook, who we last saw puking on TV.
And somebody said, oh, well, he might have had a concussion. And I didn't see what they did to him beforehand, poor Hook, that he might be puking because of the concussion. Or maybe he was just puking because he was blowed the fuck up because he was nervous and I don't know what. But then why couldn't they say that the angle that they did last week put him out instead of, well, they jumped him again after they fucking...
A jet ski landed on his face. He couldn't be here.
So anyway, that was that piece of programming, and now we'll see that somebody's finally beaten Moxley. It just came out of nowhere, and we don't have a clear idea of where it's fucking going. But of course, that applies to most AEW programming. Final thoughts on this show?
On the match, not really my thing. Claudio versus Shibata, that part was specifically not my thing. At least they make Willow look good. Willow gets to take down Marina. I guess we'll get that match at some point. And it was fun. You know, the one thing that's funny about the smaller building, with the big arenas, there's kind of a walkway. There's a place to go. With this one, because everyone was so jammed into whatever it was, like 2,500 or whatever it was in that building, and it looked great. But like security had to like really make sure they got in front of Moxley to get people out of the way so he could get to the ring. You know, the main event stuff has been bad, but there's been good stuff on the show. And I think the stuff with the Hurt Syndicate and MJF has stood out and been a highlight. I didn't mind Takeshita versus Will Ospreay, although I agree with every single thing you said about it. But I kind of knew that's Will Ospreay's match. I'd be surprised when he works a different kind of match. I knew what it would be. The Young Bucks stuff, no. The Adam Page stuff, no. Josh Alexander, maybe next time. The Mercedes Moné 20-minute match, no. What am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. At least we didn't get to see... well, I shouldn't even do that, because then I could start ripping everyone apart. But yeah, I guess I liked one segment on the show. Now that
yeah.
1.5, 2 segments on the show. Somewhere in there.
Somewhere around there.